So you can actually like go back and check it. Okay, so how's it been since we last worked?
Very good. Let's see. Well, mostly good, actually. Let me revise it. Because,
It's never gonna be all good.
yeah, so me, Hush, Limitless Bob, we've gone up. I mean, Hush hit Diamond. He's going in and out of it. I'm Diamond 2. Bob hit Masters 3, but, well, he kind of rage quit Overwatch like 2 days ago
Oh, that's
for
unfortunate.
now.
That's
Although he
unfortunate.
did just play today, so, that's how it goes.
Unfortunate. Okay. Well, I hope all
But
is well. How are you? How have you been doing?
good, yeah. I'm a team captain of a team right now,
Nice, nice. When did
and
that
that's
happen?
a month ago. We're playing in a tournament right now, doing pretty well.
Which
We've only
tournament?
lost. It's the CGL tournament,
Okay.
and we're also entering the Tranquility tournament.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Sounds good. Sounds good.
But yeah, I had some questions about some things that give us trouble for the one game we did lose so far.
Okay.
But
Okay. Sounds good. Well, is this the
we
code
can
for
get
that,
to
or is
the.
it something just requires
No,
something?
no. So the patch reset all those, didn't it?
Uh huh.
Yeah. So
Most likely, yeah, probably, yeah. Okay, sounds good. Okay, well, you were plat. You are now diamond 2. Well done.
yeah.
Congratulations. How does it feel to be a good player
Well, it feels like I'm even worse now that I
now?
know more things that I'm doing wrong,
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
honest.
What do they call it? The imposter syndrome, you know? Where it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I actually understand the game now. I'm actually a good player. Oh my gosh, I'm an idiot. I mean, so the good news is that you are a good player. Diamond players, I think, are where you draw the line into like you're not only above average, but you're good now. So congratulations. And now we want to push the bill. I'll get a little bit here.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at this form here. So we don't have to go in as detail as much because I'm sure a lot of the stuff that we talked about you probably remember well about training, mentality, and stuff like that. So we'll focus on just the new stuff. Sound good?
Hmm.
Okay. Um, so is this a ranked VOD, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is just a standard ranked VOD. We're working on Winston now. Okay. Let's actually. So a lot of your questions have to do with scrims, and with your team
Yeah.
environment. So how has that been going? I mean, we talked a little bit about it, but break me down. How has that been going? And let's focus on the team aspect questions.
So the team changed up quite a bit, but now I'm the tank player. I'm team captain. We have Hush on the team.
Mm-hmm.
We have another damage that plays Tracer. We have some supports that usually like to play Ana Lucio, can flex to like Kiriko and Mercy. I'd say the team's pretty friendly.
Okay.
We scrim every like twice a week at least, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a coach who's a like top 150 tank player, so
Okay.
he's helped me a lot with some advice for me, and he actually helped us last night in our scrim, and we actually managed to win a map on a team that was way better than us.
Nice. That's
It took
awesome.
5 maps, but by the last one we did it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Good for you. Good for you. Okay, that always feels good. So here's a question for you. What have you been enjoying about the team environment? And is this something that you want to kind of stick with moving forward, or is this just like a temporary? I like this for now, but it's just for the tournament that I'm playing in.
Uh, I like Overwatch as a team macro game way more than like solo queue. Like I've never been the type to just play Widowmaker and go for clips or something. I like the macro aspect of Overwatch, the team aspect, you could
Mm-hmm.
say.
Mm-hmm.
So I like tank. I've always liked the really wacky strats you see in Owl, where they have Sim or May and Bastion flank, all these things.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Anyways,
Okay.
I've been trying to get better at shot calling, and I feel like there's a lot of times where it's up to me to make the right call, but I just don't know the answer of what the right call is. I'm like, do we just take an early fight here, or should we play safer?
Mm.
I don't know. So I have a lot of questions in a Google Doc.
Okay. Okay. Well, I wanna look over those in a second. It's kind of a weird flip to go from rank where sometimes we talk
Yeah,
about minimizing your just focus on yourself
it's
and
very
then
different
super engaged. You know.
because I've realized that like I feel like my solo play isn't necessarily as good because I'm trying so hard to focus on all the call outs and stuff for our team and like making like just focusing on the team that I can't use as much brain power on myself
Mm-hmm.
when we're playing a match.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just want to get all of that team stuff more second nature, so I don't have to spend all my time thinking about it.
Sure. Absolutely. Okay. So I will say the first thing is, as like becoming a shot caller, is I think the best way to become a best shot caller is to try and decide what are the non-negotiable calls. And what I mean by that,
Yeah.
what are the calls that absolutely must be made?
We
Make sure
have
that you're doing those consistently. I'm sorry. And then you still have room and space for you to still be able to work on your own play at the same time.
Yeah. We have some of those, but I forget to make some of the calls because there's like the first thing is like we want to make sure we're all echoing the targets. That's like a very basic thing. The second, I'm supposed to check if we have speed amp for speed amp disengaging from their ram transform or engaging when they're weak. Third, we've got the Suzus. We want to call if they waste Suzu or waste Mora Fade or waste teleport from their Kiriko, stuff like that.
Okay.
And then just in between fights, we're supposed to check ults for our team and their team and make a plan.
Sure, but that's a lot, right? And
yeah,
and
it's
the,
a lot.
And the funny thing is that you're actually missing probably the most important call, which you're probably making without it, just because it seems obvious, but it's actually a call that if you mess up, and even Overwatch League teams sometimes mess this up, then it's impossible to win. And that's just the simple in calling when you're engaging. Because are you playing Winston in these competitions?
So I'd say for the whole time I've been with the team, I've probably played mostly Winston, but recently we've been playing a lot of Ram, Lucio, Kiriko. But I like to say in and out. I say in when I'm in, and I say out when I'm out.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and like that has to happen. It has to happen. Because we're talking about whether it's Nemesis E, whether it's your bubble as Winston or your jump as Winston. If there is no follow-up, it's over. It's not even necessarily over then. It will be over afterwards because you've wasted a cooldown without the proper follow-up from your team.
Yeah, last night we were focusing on, we walk up, don't amp. The Ram kept like transforming. We baited out, and then I'm just saying out. We amp speed out.
Great. That's awesome.
Like
That's awesome. And I will say
that was what our coach told us.
Well, that's good. I will highlight that as probably the most important call. In and out. Whether you're in, whether you're out, how you're in, how you're out, whether you're focusing the right targets, tracking their cooldowns, tracking their ultimates, those all come with time. But that has to happen every single time, all the time. Okay, so you had a Google Doc with questions. Let's talk about that.
Okay. So the comp that's given us the most trouble, it's the new, well, not new, but returned Ball, Tracer, then Sombra or Pharah. That's the only team we've lost to, and it was a really close map 5 game. But
okay, what's the support lineup?
They were playing Kiriko Lucio. No, wait, they were playing Mercy, and then Kiriko or Lucio.
Okay.
Yeah, Mercy Pharah with Tracer Ball, and then a Flex support.
Okay. And then what composition are you guys running?
So we started with our default compy practice on those maps, and we came out as Ram, Lucio, Kiriko. I don't know what your opinion is, but it felt to me like Ram just really doesn't do much against Pharah, Ball, Tracer.
No, you can't play Ram into that. That might be one of the hardest counters in the game to any tank, period.
Yeah, so after that, I was like, okay, I gotta think of something else. So I tried playing Winston. It was still rough. I think we tried Orisa, and I'm not sure if I tried D.Va yet.
Okay.
I thought D.Va's good against Pharah, but I will say last night, the team that was better than us were playing Ball, Tracer, Sombra, and we finally figured out how to counter it. We were playing Winston, Sombra, Soldier, Brig, Ana. That was the comp art. Like, we were trying different comps the whole scrim, but we had I played far back on Monkey, like, with the team. Brig pocketed Ana, the Sombra hacks Ball, and then our Soldier just off-angled. And that was basically what we did. It eventually worked out.
Let's talk about their comp. So their comp is essentially an evolution of what was called the Voided comp back in the day, which was very popular in EU contenders several years ago. And that comp initially was Pharmacy, Zarya, Ana, Tracer.
Okay.
And they run it with a Ball. Okay. And the reason why that composition works so well is because you'd have, pharmacy over here, you'd have tracer over here, you'd have ball over here, and then you'd have like your Zarya bubble your ball, your Ana's like playing in Narnia, and then it's just chaos 24/7, right? Dive chaos all the time. And they had Yaz, and I think at the time, and Pharah was really, really good. Okay, so here's what we did. And this is a little bit of an ego thing for me. Okay, They played us. We were sheer cold at the time, and we played Sombra, Tracer, Lucio stuff. And so what we did is their Zarya would get a little close, and instead of just running directly at the Tracer ball, or directly at the Zaryana, right, like this, we would actually run at the ball, or the Tracer. And what would happen is we'd run away from the pharmacy, so that they wouldn't be doing any damage to us. Now, naturally, we couldn't kill these targets, right? They'd run away.
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay. So what they did by running away is they opened up a lane with which we could rotate around and safely catch these targets.
Huh.
Because if you run directly at the most fragile target, you get concaved, you see?
Yeah.
From multiple different angles. But if you run at one of the angles, that angle has to run away. Therefore, that angle is not a threat to you. And you run away from one of the angles so that the pharmacy can't do damage to you. You see that?
Yeah.
So what we did is we would just punish the Zarya and Ana over and over again, but we did our homework first. We always made the loop. Okay.
I never thought of that.
So then what happened is we completely changed the meta because they could no longer play Zarya or Ana. And you know who the Zarya was at the time?
Yeah.
It was A10.
Oh, shoot.
And he got benched. So they put, I think it was I'm Special was the D.Va player name, because D.Va, you couldn't run on, right? Now, D.Va didn't help ball as much, couldn't bubble ball, did less damage, and so on. And then it got so bad that they stopped playing Ana, because we would eventually catch Ana. And you know what they started playing instead?
What?
Lucio. And so now we have the lowest damage, goofiest composition in the history of the universe. But guess what? We couldn't dive on a single one of these targets. Do you see that?
Yeah, they were playing in our match. They were playing ball, pharmacy, tracer, Lucio.
Right.
I was like, who do I even go on?
Right. Or getting Kiriko. Now you got Kiriko to worry about as well, because Kiriko is very similar to that an aspect. And so now that's when we really started to struggle. And our idea still worked, but we ended up losing like 3-2 or whatever, and they ended up going to the grand finals. And anyway, long story short, yeah. So now, obviously, you are not playing into a variation to where you can actually run onto anything. Theoretically, you could run at Kiriko, force Suzu, keep chasing, and eventually catch her, but that might be hard to do. So let me ask you a question. Overwatch is an objective game, okay? So if you want to contest payload, or contest cart, or contest point, and you want to capture cart, you can go to point, and all this mobility has to come onto you. They have to go into point, right? To contest you, right? Now, what's the problem with your composition sitting on point?
Well, they can just keep dodging our damage, like backing out if they get low. The pharmacy can just spam us from a range. I mean,
they can surround you. You see this?
Yeah, they surround us. Right,
and so it feels horrible. So let me ask you a question. You can leverage cart better because you guys have good, nice short-range heroes, right? What was your full composition again? You said, let's just stick with the Winston for right now. So Winston, what?
So on the one from yesterday was the Winston, Sombra, Soldier, Brig, Ana.
Okay. Okay. So let's stick with that one. Okay. So the Sombra, Soldier, Brig, Ana. You guys cannot sit on point and survive, right? It won't happen.
Yeah. But it was playing on Oasis.
Right. So how about this instead? How about you can leverage point if you need to? But what you'd actually do instead is we have these targets, right? Remember the Kiriko, the pharmacy. That's a P, I promise you. Ball, and then Tracer. You said Soldier Sombra with Winston?
Yeah.
What happens if your Soldier Sombra Winston runs at the Tracer or Ball?
Our Brig Ana would get rolled.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. What if your Sombra Soldier were focusing on the enemy Ball Tracer? Where would your threats be?
I guess the pharmacy would be the threat, poking our Brig Ana.
Okay. Here, let me. We're going to keep thinking about this. Do you remember the initial strategy of the catching the squishies in the backline? We would run at a threat.
Yeah.
Put one threat out of position and make sure that this threat was under pressure. Now, you guys don't have Lucio, so your backline is not as mobile, but that doesn't mean that you as a Winston, you and your Sombra, why don't you go hunt that Tracer?
Okay.
Go hunt that Tracer. Because are you going to kill this Tracer?
No.
No. But what happens when you threaten to hack and you jump on her? What is she going to have to do?
She's going to have to waste her cooldown. She can't peel for their
She's going
backline.
to blink ×3 and recall. Almost certain. Every time. And with a Tracer with no blinks and no recall is no longer a threat. Right?
Yeah.
She has to run away. So then that takes pressure off of your backline. And then if you want to go back and focus on point, there's now 4 people that are contesting point, not 5. Right? And now let me ask you a question. You can do this, and what else can you be doing at the same time, right? You have your Winston, Tracer, or Sombra, focus on Tracer. What can your Soldier Sombra be doing? Or Soldier Ana, excuse me.
Well, I mean, I would think they'd be poking Pharmacy, but if she's, I don't know.
Not even necessarily poking, just making sure. Keep her distant.
Yeah.
Making sure that she's not getting aggressive. Keep her on a leash. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So 2 of us clear one angle. 2 of us are watching the other angle. And what should your Brig be doing?
Just making sure the ball Tracer doesn't kill our Ana.
No slams, right?
No slams.
No slams. Just hit your whip shot. That's all. No slams, right? And make sure that these guys are healed up and supported. Now, if you are able to discourage ball, keep an eye on Pharmacy, and force Tracer cooldowns, should we theoretically be able to capture point and control point?
Yeah.
But can we ever relax? Once we do that, force the blinks for the cooldowns, then what?
We're going to have to push in while they don't have cooldowns.
Well, maybe not even push in, right? Because can we ever catch any of these targets and kill them?
No. I guess we're just going to have to reset, make sure.
Right. It's reset, wait for them to overextend again. Let me give you a question. When you swat a fly, right? When do you swat the fly? When it's in the air?
No.
When do you swat the fly?
Landed.
When it's landed. Once you've swatted the fly and the fly flies away, you've now bought yourself some space, but you know the fly's coming back, right? So if you sit there and you wait, the fly's going to bite you. At least maybe that's just if it's a horse fly, deer fly, whatever, right? But you can't go around chasing the fly. It's not going to work. True. In fact, you're just going to get bit by a fly from behind, right? So that's the same thing here. You can't catch these targets. If you're playing a Lucio, Sombra, Tracer ball of your own, maybe you could, but you can't catch these targets. You can't. But you can kill them if they overextend. And even if you don't kill them, if you force them to run away and reset, you've bought time and you've bought objective pressure. But the point is that you have to earn the objective pressure that you get, the capture percentage, the cart pushing, the payload, and so on. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we kept like trying to figure out how to play. Like I eventually ended up just essentially sitting with our Ana, and I would like just wait for them to engage. I'd bubble our team, and then I'd call targets and we'd focus it.
Okay.
But
no, that's not, I wouldn't say is the best thing about that, but if you are getting bubble on your Ana Brig, that does mean that they're gonna be able to survive the dive, at least briefly. And then if they survive the dive and you're very decisively picking one of those angles and focusing them out and clearing them out, I could see that working.
Because my question is, so for the first few maps, like they would be playing this comp, I would see a target waste abilities, I'd dive it, and I could actually kill them. Like, say it was Lucio or Kiriko, I'd kill them, but my backline would just be fully dead. So I'm wondering, like, so they kept telling me I just need to sit back and peel. So I'm wondering, is it on them to be able to peel each other, or is it on me?
It needs to be on them. It needs to be on them. They need to be positioning better, landing their cooldowns, moving, and you guys also need to be probably more proactive with actually shooting at the Pharmacy, pressuring out the Tracer. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
There's not a lot that you can do if the Pharmacy hits a double direct rocket. You know what I'm saying? And theoretically they could do it even if your Soldier on are shooting.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What if they're on Genji instead of Pharah? Because that happened for a few months.
You tell me.
Okay, if they're,
reset. We're back to here again, right?
Okay.
And was it with Lucio or Mercy?
Lucio, Kiriko, Genji.
Okay, so let's just say these guys are playing Lucio and Genji are like taking.
Well, it's actually Lucio Moira, but
okay, so there's
Moira's just like a worse Kiriko. So
sure, okay, so it doesn't even matter. Same concept though. Genji. Okay. Let's say Lucio's just hovering around with ball or something.
So the Genji pretty much played with the Tracer and ball. They would dive us. So
you're playing Winston.
At that point,
what do you think?
Well, let me think about this. I mean, the Lucio Kiriko just kind of came with the ball, so I would think I'd have to stay with my team. But
I mean, who's your best 1v1 target is Winston. We picked Tracer here because she's your best 1v1 target if she's hacked, right? There's nothing else that you could really jump.
Yeah.
Okay, so then who's your best 1v1 target now?
Probably Genji.
Genji or Moira, right?
Yeah, Moira.
They'll fade, they'll dash, but whatever. You could still force a cooldown to make him put him on the back foot, right? So if you jump at Genji, okay, what's gonna happen?
He's going to dash.
Okay.
And probably call for his supports to.
So you just protected your supports. Do you see that? You've
yeah.
removed one target from the dive.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you were talking about how like you were jumping Kiriko and Lucio's and when you're punishing them and getting kills and trades, and that's great. And that is definitely the play. It's on your backline to survive. However, if like let's say you guys are really struggling to survive, if you as Monkey can pick one of their DPS targets to focus, that actually is reasonable, right? Like let's say a hacked Tracer. Like a Tracer is normally a horrible target, but if it's hacked, landing damage, maybe we could definitely force a recall there, or maybe you can get the kill. Genji, 100%. Jump at Genji, the guy has to disengage, right? So now it's just Tracer ball, right? And then at the same time, you're thinking like, okay, my Sombra. Could my Sombra, like at the same time, like look to pressure out? Maybe your Sombra goes with you on the Genji, right? Maybe your Sombra is sitting in the backline in an off angle waiting to hack ball when he goes in, right?
Okay.
And then you should have Shield Bash, Whip Shot, Sleep Dart, Bionic Nade. You should be able to survive a ball Tracer dive with Ana Brick and Sombra.
Yeah. What if we were playing Winston with like Lucio Kiriko? Does that work?
Yeah, it's great. It's I think it's better, to be honest with you.
Because that's what we were doing at first, but
I think it's better because I think you could do more of the playstyle where I was talking about how you were like, oh bless me, I'm just gonna put X's here. Where you were like actually like rotating at the Tracer. You hack a Tracer, you run at her, she runs away. Then you guys move on to the ball and she runs away. And then you move at the Kiriko. And eventually you're going to force enough cooldowns to be able to chase a kill, or you're going to be able to swat the fly enough that you could just go to point and sit. And then go back and start chasing again. Like Winston is a phenomenal brawl short range tank, right? So as long as you guys are moving and using your Lucio speed and not sitting still, then their pharmacy is not going to be able to take a good angle. The Tracer's not going to be able to take a good angle. The ball is not going to be able to take a good angle. And you're going to be able to punish them. Okay. I think that's a comp. That's probably the best comp that you could play. But I was trying to think about it from a more static perspective. But you notice that like the consistent theme here. I don't want this to get too complicated. It's all about proactively pushing out, selecting out targets. Now let me ask you a question. Go ahead.
So we should be like, because eventually we're like, just don't do anything, wait for the ball to slam, and then we do our stuff. But should we be being more proactive, not letting him get that? Okay.
Well, I mean, maybe it's not necessarily being more proactive on ball.
Okay.
But be more proactive on Tracer.
Before they dive, we should be doing something like on their Tracer, Genji, whatever.
What if you had a Lucio Soldier and you were being proactive on Pharmacy? How could you be proactive on Pharmacy with the Lucio Soldier comp?
Against Pharmacy?
Yeah, these are hard questions, by the way.
Let me think about this. I mean, when I see a Pharmacy, my first thought is usually that their one solo support is weaker than normal.
Okay. But what if it's Kiriko, so it's hard to punish, right?
Yeah. I mean, Winston can do some damage to a Pharah, not a lot.
What if you guys said 3, 2, 1, speed out and run at the Pharmacy with your speed as you jump up in the air and like try to right-click the Pharmacy, the Mercy, right?
Yeah.
What if you guys all jumped out and sped out to this? Because like they're not going to expect that, right? That's one thing about speed and hit scan is you can quickly take an angle. Because if I'm coaching Pharmacy, how do I coach a Pharmacy to position?
Play next to like cover. So
right. But cover's relative, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you speed off at an angle and deny her cover, swing wide, Winston jumps up in the air, shoots the Pharmacy, I don't know. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Yeah.
And again, it's the same kind of problem where if you run this direction, you might actually run away from these threats and they can't catch up with you in time. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the common theme here? Like you said, we kind of talked about it a little bit, but what's the common theme between all of these?
The pressuring one of their damages removes pressure from my backline, and we want to never be relaxed. We want to be reset, ready for their next.
Right.
Because we can never chase them down, but we can counter what they're trying to do.
Right. Reset, pressure again. Reset, pressure again.
Their comp doesn't have a lot of like space holding ability. It's more about just
It's deathmatch. They want chaos, so you need to constantly be discouraging the flies. You know what I'm saying? Swat one away, fours you can manage four. Swat one away, you can manage three. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you wait and try and just tank their dive, it's just not going to work most of the time.
Yeah.
And if it is going to work, generally, what tank would be better than Winston for that?
If we're gonna tank their dive,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I tried Orisa. It was kind of weird, but I'd say better than that would probably be. I mean, Diva. Honestly.
Yep. It would have to be Diva, because at least with Diva you can matrix your backline, and then whatever the matrix theoretically would protect against Ball Tracer and Pharah. But even then, that wouldn't feel that good. It still wouldn't feel that good.
Yeah.
Right.
Diva's what I thought, but my team told me to go Orisa because they're like, just steal the ball thing, and I'm like, I don't know about that. And
what are you gonna do? Spin in the air?
I know they were mad that like. I focused the ball and they're like, Genji's killing me, you have to peel. So I stayed farther back, peeled Genji. They're like, bruh, ball's killing me in the front line.
You see the problem. When you give the reason why you have to be proactive is because if you give them the entire map and you let them set up the perfect engage with all the angles in the world, you can't peel it. You just can't. It's not possible to peel it off. You have to be more proactive with controlling space, with pressuring out their offense, because you can't peel a 5-man dive with any hero, not even Diva.
Yeah.
Okay. So all this makes sense. This is pretty advanced stuff, by the way. This is like contenders level stuff here. So, okay, let's
Well, that's what I like most about the game. I feel like as the tank / team captain, I'm trying to get very knowledgeable about all these matchups and what the right thing to do is, so I can help my team with the strategy we're gonna run in with.
And you're a smart guy. Like you did really good on all these questions. So I think obviously I don't know how often you'll see that composition, but it's something to kind of consider. I mean, just look at the composition. Well, here's a question for you. So we talked about playing into that. All right, you're playing Winston, Tracer, Soldier, Ana, Lucio, Kiriko, Lucio, and then all of a sudden you roll into a Ryan May, Bat, Torbjorn composition. How do you play?
On the same comp?
On your comp, the Winston comp, Sombra, Tracer, Kiriko, Lucio, something similar to that. Let's say Soldier, whatever. How would you play?
Okay. Our normal comp would be to have like Winston, Sojourn, Tracer, but in either way, I'd say that we're now the ones that are way more mobile. We play more like the ball comp.
Yes.
And they're more of the our job.
Right. So if they all turtle in one location, theoretically you have the perfect bubble engage. You can take any high ground that you want. Right.
Yeah, I heard it called when you're playing something like that against a brawl comp, you have to pressure cook them. You want to get around them and waste their cooldowns.
Right. Because every time you engage on that comp as Winston, you'll have the perfect drop on the backline, a 5-man cleave. Your Sojourn will get a fat E. Your Kiriko could take any DPS off angle that she wants, and then eventually, maybe you don't get the kill immediately, but you reset, you do it again. Their cooldowns will be down, or you'll have an ultimate, and because they're all stacked in one place, how useful is High Noon going to be? How useful is the Earth Shadow going to be? If they're done, they're cooked. Like you said, the pressure cooked. So you got to see the shoes on the other foot, where for them they would have to be like more proactive, trying to poke you out ahead of time, deny you from taking high ground. But if they don't do that, they're cooked. It's not always easy to understand these things, but it's helpful. Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Did you have the more Google Form stuff?
Oh, that was only the first question out of like 30, but we'll get to.
Okay, maybe it's a sense of priorities, the most important ones, and obviously you can send me the ones over text afterwards too.
Yeah. The one thing I'm gonna ask though is, how often, like on a scrim team, should players be learning new heroes we're trying to do a comp, or should they stick to more comfort, or like how many comps should we be practicing?
I think comfort's always better, especially at the rank that you're playing right now. So the way I think somebody described meta as exponential, and I really like that description. So in other words, if you are a OTP in silver or gold, the hero that you play doesn't really matter almost at all. It's a very minor thing. Obviously Sojourn's going to be better, but it's very, very minor. But then if you get to top 500, then the hero pick matters significantly more, right? It could still OTP, but it matters significantly more. So as you climb in the ranks, it matters more. You're still at a rank where I don't think the hero playing quote unquote meta is good so much as it is playing a composition where everyone is on a comfort hero and finding the way that those heroes all synergize together, right? And you could make almost anything work. Like, I mean, I remember Avoided for a while. I was playing like Torbjorn Pharmacy.
Yeah.
And that makes no sense whatsoever, but their Torbjorn player like figured out that, okay, I'm basically playing by myself. I have to play really selfish. I have to play really sneaky. And guess what? It was really hard to play into. So if you play, I mean, I coached that Symmetra one-trick team that was dominating the collegiate scene. Literally the best team at the time. And they were playing like Symmetra, Roadhog, Ana, Brig, Widowmaker, and it made no sense, but they found the way to make it all work, and they're a great team. So you guys need to find what that is for you guys. You know, you like that hero, you like that hero, you like that hero. Okay, guys, how can we make this work? And I do not encourage you guys to learn a lot of compositions. I think it's better to find, okay, when we play versus this swap feels good, that swap feels good. Have a handful of swaps available, depending on the situation, depending on the map, and then just focus on doing that.
Because, yeah, I've always thought that, like, it'd be better to master a main comp for us than trying to learn every meta.
Right.
But, like, I have one player on my team that's like, all right, Ball got buffed, you need to learn Ball now.
Right.
Also, maybe learn Diva for far. Also,
Right.
practice Doomfist in case that I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know how many tanks I can get good at.
Well, I mean, we've had this conversation before, you know, back in October. I mean, you know the answer to that. So it applies to team stuff as well. I mean, even Overwatch League teams generally try to specialize a little bit here and there. It's just not good practice. And I also think for like good team experience, mastering one comp is like such a rewarding and an educational experience, just big picture, you know, like you get to learn the ins and outs and how to like master a comp. And so when you have to do it again, like, so let's say the meta changes, right, and you have to make adjustments to your composition, well, you know how you got there in the first place, so you can make the adjustments as necessary, pick up an entirely new composition even. I think like dabbling in a ton of different foolishness is like, it's an art. You don't want to be OTPs, never swap, never do anything, but the opposite extreme I think is actually even worse. So obviously that's the part you're starting to see why being in a team is hard, though, because the team challenges isn't even necessarily this, is it? It's what you just told me. Well, I have a member of my team. Yep, that's how it always starts, you know. I mean, that's the challenge. It's the social leadership, you know, trying to find compromises, working with everybody, communicating. Man. It's hard.
The hardest thing for me has been the fact that I think we have too many flex players, and I'm like I want to have our role starters, you know, practicing the scrims, but there's like a lot of other flexes and subs that also want playtime. They don't just want to sit there for 2 hours.
How many players do you guys have?
So we actually lost. Well, we have the 5 main, and then we have a sub for tank, a sub for damage, and a sub for support.
You're crazy. You're crazy. Like, respectfully, I know it's probably hard because you might have people that might not show up so that you need the subs. But it would be a lot better if you find a way to like find people that can consistently make the. How often do you guys scrim?
Twice a week.
Yeah, so you need to be able to find people that can make twice a week. And then
I mean, I'd say we usually have more than 5 people every time.
Well, so what I'm saying is, but is it the same 5?
Yeah, it's usually
okay.
Well, let me think. Okay, I mean, yes and no. It's like 70% of the time we can get everyone, but stuff comes up.
Yeah, I get that, but like you need to find people who can have that time slot generally, and then maybe at at most have like one sub who's like a specialist that you can sub in. But even then, how useful is that? You know,
I've always thought we should have just maybe one sub. But
I mean, look at Overwatch League teams, right? How many teams do you know? Do you follow Overwatch League much at all?
Yeah,
okay.
I do.
How many Overwatch League? How many Overwatch League teams even this past season had specialists?
I mean, Dallas Fuel's my favorite. They had Winston specialists.
Right.
They had, you know.
But they had 2 tanks, right? So they
had 2 tanks. And they had a lot of players.
And they had a DPS sub, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Well, they have 4 DPS, don't they? They had 4 DPS.
Well, they had Field. Wait, no, they had Gurio.
Yeah, they had Gurio, Sparkle, Hotba, right? And
no, Hotba's a tank.
Oh yeah. Who was it? Their 4th DPS.
I'm gonna look it up right now. Dallas Field Wikipedia. Man, I don't know. Gurio, Edison, Sparkle, Doha.
Oh yeah, Doha. I get Hoppa and Doha's names mixed up.
Right. So they had 4 DPS. So you're beaten by by Dallas Fuel, by one of their DPSs. Okay. But do you know that they have a support sub?
They just had field their Chia.
Yeah, they did.
I don't think they
did.
did.
They didn't. No, they only had one tank sub. So you have as many players as the Dallas Fuel did last season. A professional Overwatch League team. I mean, even players like Ons went the way of the dodo. You know what I'm saying? Like Ons just wasn't played. Like I remember even in scrims they only used on very very Widow maps. You know, and so people were just like, you know. It's not just a money thing either. It's like it's hard to build team synergy. It's hard to get everybody on the same page and communication.
People are changing.
And listen, I dealt with this with London last season, right? Whether it was Poco on the bench, whether it was Hottie not playing a map, a lot of Shaqs obviously on the bench as well. It's not fun, and I know that there were even issues with like Khan. Like it's hard. It's not fun. Nobody likes that, and a lot of my job last season was like trying to make sure that we're keeping the guys on the bench engaged, like doing VOD reviews with them, practicing some rank stuff. Like I was teaching Poco Doomfist, but like you can see the problems already. This isn't just an Overwatch League level problem. This is a every level problem. So if you're the team captain, that's going to be something you probably want to discuss with the team, because it's not fair to the players, right? Like they want to scrum. It's not like, oh, we're going to cut you because we think you suck. It's like, we want you, this is not fair to you, coming to a 2-hour scrim and not playing a single map, like you said. So, okay. Any other questions here?
I think that's good for now.
Okay. Like I said, my DMs are always open, so if there are any other important ones that we don't get to, just shoot me a message and we'll look it over. Okay. Anti-Prime. What do you think about the lighting in this map?
I like it. I mean, I
kind of do too. It looks kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm like a hobbyist game developer.
Yeah.
I've made quite a few maps. I don't know. I appreciate the map design in Overwatch.
I do too. I think the lighting is quite pretty. I'm not gonna lie. What have you been practicing? Have you been practicing anything recently with Winston, by the way?
Recently, I've been practicing all these tanks my team wants me to play. Mostly Ramatra a lot, and like I tried out a few experimental comps with them.
Okay. What about Winston? What is there any like? I'm basically asking. Remember how we gave you goals to work on when we VOD reviewed last? Okay.
Yes.
So you've improved significantly. You've climbed over an entire rank. Okay. So what have you been practicing recently with Winston? Or has it just been playing the game?
I try to practice when I play. The most recent thing I've been trying to practice is not like the specific text and stuff. It's mostly a good mindset.
Okay.
Like stop caring about wins, losses, rank, whatever. Try to focus. I try to focus on my shot calling and not cluttering calls.
Even in ranked?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I've had people tell me no one else is shot calling, just mute yourself, and I'm like, I'm trying my best, guys.
I mean, that's not what shot calling is about, Shot calling, even if you're the only one shot calling, that makes it even more important, right?
Yeah.
Because you could just you don't have to tell people what to do or even the target focus. You could just be like, guys, I'm going in. I'm going to use Primal this fight. That alone is fine.
Most people do. I mean, like that I shot call in ranked because most people don't talk in ranked nowadays, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine to practice. I respect it.
And I've been trying to be better with my bubble usage. I waste bubble a few times in here. There's a few times where I let Reaper get too close to me, but overall, I think I just survived more than their Winston. So
okay. I mean,
it was a really close game here. But
okay, sounds good. I mean, their combo is going to be tough. You're going to be really disciplined. Like Torbjorn, Hanzo.
Yeah, they go Reaper Torb.
Yeah. Well, you just run away from them, right, or avoid them, or set up your engages perfectly and save your jump. Because if they go Reaper Torb, they have a harder time matching you on flanks, so you can flank them and then save your jump to get out. You don't have to use your jump to engage.
Oh yeah, and I'm trying to be better about my right clicks too. Using a more right click.
This is cute, You jump immediately. Now sometimes you might get punished for this, but I think this is pretty smart if you can get away with it, right? Because if they walk out up top, you're already set up. You have your jump to get disengaged. Oh, that.
I was confused that they went main. I did not expect them to go main, so I just panicked bubbled.
I would have just jumped out. Period.
Yeah.
Jump out here, get healed up, then set up your engage here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I really panicked bubbled there.
Yeah.
Hanzo was just arrowing me.
This is good, by the way. What you're doing right now, holding space, focusing.
I was just trying to wait for bubble.
Yeah, waiting for bubble, not taking too much damage. If you're going to peek, pop a right click on the Hanzo. Obviously, you got to be careful that you're not taking more damage, but I think if you're going to be shooting anybody, yes. I love the patience with bubble here too. This is good. This is really good. Disengaging out. Oh, get her. I would have been more confident here. If you see somebody like this here, you've done a great job controlling space. She needs to die.
Just jump.
She needs to die.
Okay.
She and the Moira die if you jump this.
I guess the Tor wouldn't have really had any healing if I had jumped in, so.
Good. I love the attention on the Ana here. Don't get lazy. You know, don't just be like, oh, I shoot Winston, you know? This was a very solid first fight. I think the biggest thing was that bubble, the panic bubble, rather than disengaging and set up your next engage, and then a little bit of confidence on following through. But I think this is a very nice fight. Also, please cap point. It caps faster with 3, so you might as well. There's nothing else to be doing. All right, like the high ground.
I see they have Reaper Torb, so I want to be very careful is what I was thinking. Yeah,
I'm wondering if there's going to be follow-up here, but this Moira's being really sloppy with her fade, so I think what you're about to do is the proper play. Yep, there's Sleep Dart. This sucks, respectfully.
Yeah.
You have played really, really well so far, though, up until this point. Even, like, not taking damage here. There's a Sleep Dart. You're on the Ana, you back off a little bit, and then I would have just chilled a second here. Baited a little bit more attention, baited a little bit more attention.
Cleave.
Yeah, just a little bit more, and then just go right in, you know? And we also miss up the boop on Ana, it sucks. Oh, we got her though, okay. I mean, you've improved. This looks really good. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I think reasonable play from you so far. And by reasonable, I mean I've seen nothing that is preventing you from getting to Diamond 1 or Masters 5.
Yeah, I've actually felt really good about ranked games. I just haven't played that much because I've been scrimming with my team and busy with school.
Sure. Well, you have a priority now. You know, it's like ranked might not be as important to you as mastering your team play. So that's fine.
I will say though, since playing in the team, I felt like I've been getting better faster than just playing ranked.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. As long the only problem with playing the team is sometimes it puts unrealistic expectations in rank. But as you can see here, there's still lots to practice. You know, even stuff that carries over very well. I mean, this is what we talked about, the weakness of Reaper Torb, right? They can't stop you from doing this. You can literally drop in this Torb you're in right now, and honestly, you're doing a great job baiting cooldowns here. They're just pressing their buttons. You look at them and press the button.
But the thing is, the whole game, they had more % on the points than us. I was like,
well,
I panic bubble there.
Yeah, this is where we're getting just a little bit sloppy. I wouldn't mind if you actually like drop on the Moira and just get the bubble, force the fade, clear the space, let your team walk out of the choke.
If anything, I should have bubbled on the floor.
Right, just drop in the Moira, you know. But then like you get your
like
bubble
I bubble and
anyway.
jump away. It's like a waste.
Yeah.
I just need to be more careful.
And by the thing about the point, it's not that deep. Win the fight. There's some things that you could have done better that would have helped you to win the fight and actually win the game. So it's really not that complicated. Now sit in Torb. It's free ult charge for Mercy and Kiriko.
Yeah.
If the fight's won, it's free ult charge. And you're the safest target to be taking it, so that's probably like 15-20% ult charge you could give him. But you know you're doing a pretty good job when that's the first thing I'm bringing up, you know.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, they're on soldiers, so be careful about this now, because they're going to be able to chunk your HP more. So, this is okay. You know, their Winston has engaged, their Reaper has engaged. Obviously, you don't have Primal here, so you need to really, really like play your life, play your bubble really smartly.
Yeah, I was thinking that I'd try to just go and bubble, draw attention, then get out, because their Winston Reaper were walking.
Yes, this looks good. This looks good so far. You've split the soldier as well. No, this is totally fine. Would have been very cautious about this though. So here,
I think that I bubbled.
I
could have gotten slept.
Yeah, you need to play like more of the right click game here. You've
Actually,
done it.
Did I hear Sleep Dart earlier? I remember at some point in this game, I was like, I heard Sleep Dart, and I go,
no.
Yeah, I was just sloppy. I guess.
You went on a Sleep Dart this fight. Remember when you dropped?
Yeah.
But that wasn't this fight, and so this one is not great.
Okay, yeah. Well, she messed up anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. Their backline's not very good with their cooldowns.
That's fine. Your DPS line is putting out literally 0 pressure. They're just like walking on the rotate every time. Yeah. Good fight. Good fight.
I didn't think we were gonna Kitsune so fast here, but
That's fine. This is fine. Turn on the Torb here, or on the Moira, excuse me.
I was trying to get her, but she...
Yeah. Yeah, this is good. Wait, what? Okay, I was gonna say, there's no way this happens. Okay, this was a good round. I think the big thing is just like being a little bit more, just be a little bit careful about the whole like, oh, I'm not gonna bubble, I'm not gonna bubble. Oh shoot, I kind of overstepped the line and now I have to do a really bad bubble. You know what I'm saying? Just be a little bit cleaner with that. But so far, I've been very pleased with your setup. I think you played very well. Okay. Like right here, for example. I don't think this is bad, but I also don't think it's even quite necessary. So if you jump here, jump to cover, he's backed off. Is he a threat to your team anymore?
No.
No, so you don't get anything out of shooting him when you could just drop here or just disengage and then listen to his footsteps. 3, 2, 1. He tries to turn the corner and like pop you, then you bubble, right? So it just
so
buys
I should go in, he backs off, I back out and bait him to come back in.
Right. Because remember, what is your purpose out of zapping these guys? Is it to kill them?
No, it's just to make them have to back up with their attention.
It's to threaten the kill, right? But you've already threatened the kill by being here, so then you only need to commit to it once they commit to you, and they don't. You gain nothing by being here. If this was solo Cassidy, go drop the bubble, kill this guy. But you know you're not going to kill both of these guys, so don't even bubble here. I mean, this is fine, but then you can even see here, like you see you're turning your attention away back to somebody else. That's the entire mentality of why you don't drop your bubble here. You're like, you force them back. Okay, look, okay, what's going on? Okay, they turn the corner, bubble, bang, right? And then that just allows you to keep them zoned out longer. That's why you do that. Because now the bubble's broken, but this bubble could be still half HP and still alive, and they would still, like, you would zone them out for an extra 1-2 seconds, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get it.
And the reason why that's important as well is if, like, say this comp is they're playing really aggressively here, and they, like, blow up your bubble. Do you see your jump cooldown?
Yeah, it could be too slow. They could sleep me.
Right. Again, here, this is really stupid. You make the Winston jump you, which is like really stupid from him, but you're like, okay. But why are we still peeking this?
Yeah, there's no point because the Cassidy has nothing to shoot except me. So I'm just giving him something to do.
Exactly, and he's outside of your range. So like, he's going to win this trade unless you hit literally every single right click. He's going to win this trade, right? And the Ana just like completely turns the brain off. So whereas here, what could you be doing? Do you see this?
Going on the Mercy, because they have no fade for Reapers.
Right. You could be right clicking the Mercy. You could just not be taking damage.
Yeah, I could just not be wasting.
And that's
like,
400.
I have to get healed.
And that's like, where would you have been at? Full. You would have literally been full.
Yeah, I would literally
501
be
HP with armor. Yeah. So not good. And there's the Susan. I mean, that was stupid of your Kiriko, but like you would still be full. Yeah, it's not great. That being said, and then like right now, again, same kind of concept. I like this jump, but then what's your mindset immediately?
Okay, they can't see anything else except me, so why am I peeking them?
Right. So jump, drop. You've done the job. Now look at the map. Look at how much space your team controls. You have done a much better job than the enemy monkey, but you're giving up this advantage by being greedy.
Yeah, okay.
Then this jump right here, completely brain dead. Because you're about to have 2 seconds on your bubble. You might actually want to go in deep here, right?
Oh yeah, I could have just walked around and then gone in deep, because that's true.
Yeah.
They already used nade.
So like, this is like, this looks like a lobby where you're probably the highest ranked player in the lobby, and so you're expected to play well, right? And so obviously your team is not playing very well, but you need to do more than this. The game is expecting you to play at a Diamond 2 level, and we're seeing that inconsistently, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering why you're going outside a bubble, but yeah, okay. Primal. Okay.
Moons.
Yeah.
So I'm just.
Yeah. This is fine. Yeah. I would not have hesitated to shoot Reaper here. You had the drop in him and you had bubble as well. But this is okay as well. The reason why as well is because if you do this here, watch this. Bang, drop bubble. You can bubble dance, clear Reaper, force Wraith, and then you still have your jump if you need it.
Yeah.
Actually, I feel like this is more of a risk of you dying here, I think.
Yeah, more of a risk going in deep with no jump cooldown.
Better Cassidy kills you here, 100%.
Because if he stuck me and walked inside, he could have killed me.
Yeah, just even a fan, you know?
Yeah.
This Ana is not good. Yeah, even this is just silly. Like, I know the Winston's low, but like...
Yeah.
Just walk to point, or like walk to shoot bubble or something. This is just, it's a Nano Reaper, you know? You use it, yeah, it's just dumb. Okay.
Yeah.
So a little bit of, so what's the consistent issue here? Because I want to like find what needs to be practiced here, not just,
the issue is that I'm thinking too much that I need to keep pressuring backline instead of realizing what the purpose of it is.
Right.
The purpose is that I'm making them back off, wasting their engage. They can't see anything, but I still pressure them even though I have no chance of killing them. And it's just wasting time.
Right. And as corny as it sounds, it's really a timing issue. Where you are pressuring at a time when there is no follow-up, there's no need for you to be doing anything, they have no space, why are you going in? It's like the equivalent of the Reinhardt pinning into the backline when your team is in spawn. Like, it doesn't matter that you're creating space right now. It doesn't matter that you're peeking over the edge and getting 4 people to shoot at you. It doesn't matter that the Nano Reaper is shooting you when nobody else is following up or the matchup is horrible. And sometimes it's been both. Like, we're peeking at Cassidy who's doing nothing at a range where he's going to blow us up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I'm focused too much on tasing my normal targets. Like, I'm like, Cassidy's vulnerable, but there's no point to tase him there. So
now the ironic thing here is this is a horrible target for you to tase, but it's probably the best thing you could be doing right now. Why?
Because he's the only one really going in.
Right. He's turned the line. He's crossed the line. So now this is a target. Like, if he starts shooting you, your Cassidy, Brig, Tor blow him up. Right? Even if it's like an 80-80 strafing kind of thing, when he turns his body this way, he's easier to shoot for the rest of your team. So it's like, even from that, and like, obviously you end up getting slept and mechanical misplay. Maybe the bubble wasn't the best, but there was like, if we look at this from like a big picture perspective here, look at the attention that you forced. There's Reaper Ana, there's the Mercy. Respectfully to your team, if your team can't win this, then there's something wrong with your team. You know what I'm saying? We've seen multiple fights where you've completely trolled the lobby, and now it's your team's turn. So I don't have a problem with this, because you see what's happening?
Yeah.
This is good. This is not great tanking. A better tank would have played her on the sleep dart better. A better tank would have taken maybe a little bit less damage, but this should be good enough. This is better than what we've seen for the last few fights, so that was what we put focus on. So you're just dead. Okay, this is actually really good. This is good. Because the other thing about this as well is if you disengage and they keep pushing, sometimes they overextend you in the fight.
Yeah, I was just going for Mega here, but...
Free ult charge. Look at that Mercy. Oh, yes. 10% right there. Nice job. Okay. Early little rally here. Cassie's isolated. You've got bubble. There we go. That's a lot of space for our team. Now, I like this jump. Why?
Their Ana's very isolated.
She's gonna sleep you.
Yeah, but they won't be able to heal the monkey anymore, and my whole team's on the monkey.
Okay. So. But if you get slept, do you die?
No, because I have pillars. I mean, the Cassidy's not gonna do too much damage.
That's the thing, is I think the Cassie might. Well, actually, the Cassie might be able to get there, but at least the Reaper's not there, right? Yeah. That's the other thing too. Is like, if you jump an isolated target, like, I might get CC'd, but I've been to jump in a location to where I'm not gonna instantly get blown up. Like, right. Yeah, I'd be very careful. Be very careful. What I would have done is, well, you tell me, what was the optimal mechanical big brain play right here?
When I jumped in, I should have been playing more left using the pillar, I guess.
Nope. Better than that. What about this? Shoot your zap and just go flying right past her.
Yeah, that would draw attention. I mean, I'll be able to have cover here.
Right, and you could listen.
Get Mega if I want.
And right, does she panic and use sleep dart? Does she panic and use nade?
Info.
She's gonna either back up or she's gonna blow a cooldown, right? And then either way, and then you could do this. You could go, jiggle peek right click, jiggle peek right click. We're gonna use a cooldown. We're gonna use a cooldown. We're gonna use a cooldown. Okay, and then now they're on a Cassidy are not in positions to help their monkey anymore, right? Do you see that?
Yeah.
And then you get your next bubble. You go in hard. This is just too greedy.
Yeah.
That being said, you are creating a lot of space. Jump on that, huh? Honestly, you need to work on these jumps a little bit.
Yeah.
A better Ana would have hit like so many more safeguards. Yeah. Okay. The theory of what you're doing is a little bit more sound than this fight and the previous fights, but it's not mechanically executed very well. This takes me off. I hate when people do that. Like I don't want to fight. Like I don't know what people's obsession with stuffing this choke is with the comp that you have. Like,
yeah,
what is your like? Look at your torp turret even. Like what? I don't know. Okay, nice jump. Perfectly placed bubble. That's a fight win. Yeah, I mean, literally, you could just feel it. You know it was over. Okay. Okay.
I've primal, so I was trying to go aggressive last fight.
Yeah. This is good.
Oh, I should have finished that cast.
I mean, okay, it's fine, but this actually feels like the fight's starting, so like this is okay. You should definitely finish the cast. I mean, you did finish the cast. Oh no.
I should have primal maybe canceled.
Yeah, you would have canceled.
That's what I thought afterward, but I didn't think of it fast enough.
That's okay. So this is mostly just mechanic stuff, to be honest with you. Kills that it should have been, taken earlier. I do have a question. I have an answer now. All right. I don't like your urgency here. There's not a huge urgency. I would prefer you to actually take the jump to walk and just take the jump over here. You have a few percentage points.
Maybe I was panicking that they nanoed Winston, so I was like, I gotta get on someone to take pressure off. I don't know. I just fed. What in the world?
You sure you're diamond too?
No, it's the new season's matchmaking. I've been seeing Grandmasters, Gold, it's like I've had. Do you know? I tried all day yesterday to get replay codes, but I had 8 levers out of 11 games that I had time to play.
Oh my gosh! You know what's funny? My wife said the same thing. She was playing ranked yesterday. She said like 80% of her games was like lever.
Yeah, this is the best I got. Like this was literally the last game I played. Or I just played 2 games before you called me, and it was this one and my other code. It's just the most recent games I had.
Let's watch one more fight.
Good.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong person. I'm on the wrong team. Okay. I'm like, wait a second. All right. Good. I mean, I love this already. I feel like rolling on the side is just objectively better. People are like, good point. Why? You don't see anything.
I feel like, Winston doesn't go there.
Yeah, don't like it.
I wanted to see back one. I think I just, yeah.
This is very aggressive, but it's done well, so it might work. Even a broken clock, right? Eventually it was gonna happen. So, I mean, obviously, show some respect, hit the combo. I think even like from a micro perspective here, like no right click there obviously sucks as well. You didn't have a lot of time to charge it up. You didn't have a lot of time to charge it up, but I do think that you could have gotten a half charge right click here, like an extra 20 damage or so. You got to get in the habit of doing this. Anyway, long story short, a little bit of ego. Probably
I do it whenever I remember, but I just,
right. Well, that's why we play ranked, right?
Yeah.
That's why you play ranked, so that you do remember. You practice it over and over again. But this is a good jump. Nice disengage. You guys get a lot of space. I mean, this is generally what I feel like you've been doing. I feel like in general you've been creating space better than the enemy monkey, but sometimes you just ego a little bit, or you greed and right. And who knows? Maybe the enemy monkey. I would assume the enemy monkey is probably a couple of ranks lower than you, so it's expected, right? Meanwhile, their DPS or supports maybe are higher ranked, and so you're not expected to outplay the enemy tank. You're expected to outplay yourself to do better each and every time. And this to me is just kind of lazy, to be honest with you. Like, you get 4 seconds on bubble. Like, where surely you could be setting up your next engage. Like, I feel like probably right click Reaper, but lean. Yeah, I think lean right again. And the reason why I like right is just because you can see.
Because you can see where their backline is, see when they're use cooldowns.
Right. This is fine. Just drop bubble now. Honestly, just drop bubble right now. Don't wait. Don't wait until your armor gets chunked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just drop bubble. Like, this. You're losing this cooldown trade or HP trade way too hard. Like, you don't want to waste bubble, but you know you're gonna use it. You know you're gonna use it. So just. Yeah.
Just a Reaper with the Mercy Puck. I should use it right away.
Right. It's just, once again, like, it's like one of the things where you just get a little sloppy with it, and like, you make the right move, but you just don't do it as well as you should have. Nice. Oh my gosh.
No, I was telling my team to back up this whole time. It goes on for another minute.
It's fine. Dominate the spawn camp. What should you be doing right now?
I should have just gone with it. Maybe gone on their backline.
You should be on the flank. Right now. You should be on the flank. Yeah.
I should have just gone with it. I saw the Junkrat. I was like, should I dive the Junkrat up there? It seems like such a wacky play.
Go!
I know. I was like, should I dive the Junkrat? I don't know.
This is where the shot calling is a problem, because what you just said to me is a red flag. You're trying to tell your team what to do. That's your first mistake, right? We don't do that here. You know, we don't do that in ranked. You tell your team what you're going to do, and then if your team does something, and you follow up what they do. Like, and that, by the way, obviously ranked scrims practice, that's a good practice for scrims as well. You know what I'm saying? Is to be a good teammate, is to also be a good listener, and not assume that what your play is always the best. Because I can also look at the enemy composition and be like, do I really want to give that honest space? Do I want to try and leverage my brig value more? I mean, what you're doing isn't the worst thing to be doing. You know, your brig is getting good cleave. You've got an active rally. Might as well.
But I could have been cleaving with her.
So. Right. You could have been on a Mercy. You could have been zoning. You could have really just...
You
literally could have walked on Junkrat and killed Junkrat by himself. He would have got no help. I promise you.
I thought it was such a weird play to dive into their spawn, but I should have just done it since there was so much attention on the right side. It was like it turned.
And it wasn't just your brig. You saw everybody. It was ironically everybody but you.
Yeah.
I mean, the jump there was good because it's like, it's close range versus a Reaper, but they have to turn the corner into your entire team and you get like massive cleave. But it's too little, too late.
That was too late. Could have been good if I was earlier.
Good jump. I really like how you always jump and tuck. You see that? Jump, tuck, jump, tuck. It's so much harder to like lock you down, and it buys you so much more time. It's a really good habit with the cover usage. You know, people don't realize how important cover is for tanks. You know.
Yeah.
This is fine. Find the Ana. Yep. And this is good. Like, it's just like so many of your fights aren't executed perfectly, but are done well. But then it just it ticks me off. I'm glad we saw that fight though, because I could slap you around a little bit with that one.
Yeah.
Okay. What are the main takeaways for your Winston here? So we talked a lot about macro strategy stuff. I have the thing I think recorded, so you can go back and look at it and all the scraggles. But for Winston specifically, what do you need to be practicing and ranked?
So I should really be thinking about, is the person I'm on right now gonna do anything if I'm not on them?
Timing.
I never really thought about that. Yeah, the timing.
The person I'm pressuring worth it? Is my team or enemy team engaged? So that there's some sort of trade, and I'm gonna win the trade because my mechanics or my cover usage is better. You know what I'm saying? That happened a lot on the previous round. Anything else?
I guess my bubble, like sometimes I was being too greedy. I could get slept, get my armor taken away. If I'm in just solo queuing, I can't force my team to do something, so I should just, like, I've heard one person doing something stupid is just stupid, but 5 people doing it is a strategy, so I should just go with that.
Tell team what you will do and or follow up on them. Yeah, it's a good skill for life, you know. Don't be that guy, even if you know better. You know, you're not going to win somebody over in a ranked game in 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I never try to argue with them. I just say I'm going to play farther back so I can dive when they engage, and then I don't know, team just goes up. I'm like,
but do you see what you've done by not arguing is even worse?
Yeah.
Because it's the equivalent of like arguing. There's at least a discussion, a back and forth, and they understand. They probably just assumed that you were going to go in, but you didn't say anything. You just sat there and let it die.
Okay.
Like that's the ultimate passive aggressive move.
Yeah.
That's his textbook definition of it too. Okay. Any questions?
When should I be swapping from trying to dive to like counter dive onto my own team when they dive? Like,
I like counter dive. Okay, so let's put it this way. I very rarely like counter dive, but then what I might try and do is my priority changes from I'm trying to kill a target versus I'm trying to zone a target. And to me, counter dive falls more to the zoning. For example, there Winston jumps in deep. You know he doesn't have primal. Your job then is not necessarily to kill his backline, but just to prevent that backline from following up by taking
okay,
up the root. But rarely would I actually jump back and bubble off the Winston. I would rather just bubble off the supports anyway, because I feel like the return on investment is still higher.
So if they're playing like Winston Genji, who are gonna dive together, should I be like Winston Genji dives my backline? Should I go in tase Genji, or is it already too late? Should I have been looking to tase Genji before he dives in, or should I just be going on the backline?
What's the support line? That's very
like
important. If it's Kiriko Lucio or Moira Lucio, you're not likely to be able to win those 1v1s very easily. So why bother?
Yeah, but if their backline is like on a Zen.
Okay, prevent the follow-up then.
Okay, well...
It all comes back to 1v1s, right? Are you good in a 1v1 versus Genji? Yes.
Yes.
But you're better in a 1v1 versus on his end. There's just more return on investment, right?
Okay.
So you might have to just pray that your team can peel off because you're going to be doing... Because like I assume that your backline isn't on his end, right? So would you rather keep their on his end tied up? Heck yes. No Discord?
Yeah.
No anti, no sleep dart, no heal support, no damage. That's rough, but you know. So just take the favorable 1v1s. You might do a counter dive peel if there is no backline. Or it's a backline, like let's say they're playing Pharmacy, you know, Kiriko. Remember we talked about this, right? We talked about how you played this in scrims where there was no backline. So you're either going to do what I talked about, it, which is the proactive trying to hunt down a hack tracer and so on. Or maybe you do peel with bubble, right? Because there just isn't anything to dive at all. Do you see that?
Yeah.
And that's the rule. If there's no target that you can't 1v1 at the same time to force a favorable cooldown trade, then yes, you're gonna jump back and peel off. Outside of that, very rarely. That's not what your hero does very well.
So I mean, if they're on like Diva, Reaper, Torb, and such, like, what is my playstyle there?
Well, your play.
Am I just trying to bait cooldowns, high ground?
I mean, you're trying to find what else is there though. Diva, Reaper, Torb. Don't like most of those 1v1s unless that Reaper doesn't have Wraith, unless that Torbjorn doesn't have Overload. But what's the other support?
I mean, Lucio Kiriko is the most common.
Okay, so that's a rough one. That's about as bad as it gets, because you're not very favorable in any of those 1v1s. So what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to play cover very tightly. You're gonna have to play around your bubble cooldown really tightly, and you're gonna have to be trying to pay very close attention to who's used cooldowns and who has not used cooldowns and punish. But I'm not gonna lie to you, it's rough. You can avoid.
Would you say
you can avoid Tor, but Diva is harder to avoid.
Would you say it's worth it to like in those situations, I just can stay monkey, I can get better at monkey playing that, or is that like you just give it up, like you'd never play monkey?
I'd give it a shot. Maybe give it a couple of team fights. Maybe give it an old cycle because it's good practice. But then go to the other tank, like go to a Ramatra for practice or something like that.
Because I have an alt account that's Winston only, never swap, and every game they've gone Hog, Reaper, Torb so far that I've played on it. Like, I just force it. I'm still doing good because like I get through gold.
Look at we just looked at, right? Look at the game we just looked at.
Yeah.
They tried to counter swap you, and you've done a really good job so far. You're playing way more intelligently than what I expected Diamond Winston to play. So clearly the practice is paying off, right? And that's going to help you in scrims a lot. So I think it's totally fine to do that. But that would, especially with the Diva Reaper Torb, that would be the one time where I would consider swapping. But I would maybe go for like an ult cycle, you know? Get the practice, and then pick another tank that you want to practice. Don't play Zarya because, it counters are comp. Play Ramatra.
Yeah.
Ramatra doesn't do great versus that, but he's
So I should focus on the ones that I'm better at versus going for just counter pick.
Exactly. I mean, that ties back into our scrim mentality too, right?
Yeah.
Play to your strengths.
So for Ram, since we didn't really have time to go over the whole VOD, I just had a basic question. So first, his shield vortex transform. Like, I've been trying out both ways, but like, do you use those like you shield vortex transform, go in, you have shield cover, or is it more like you cycle them? Like, you can shield to go up or shield to get out, and you use like transform when they're weak. It's like a cycle.
Stop looking
Like
for
I don't know
flow
if it's
chart. Stop looking for flow chart. It's your first mistake.
okay.
Do you jump backline? Do you jump supports as Winston, or you jump DPS? You see my problem?
Yeah.
Stop. Why are you looking for an answer to a question that doesn't exist?
So I mean, it just depends. Is what you're saying.
Focus on your timing. Focus on your targets. Am I using my E on a squishy that allows me to line up more headshots and so therefore forces a cooldown? Am I going to use my E on the Rhine as he pushes in so that then I burn more shield? Am I using the shield to split? Am I using the shield for myself? Do I nemesis onto the tank or do I nemesis in the backline? Stop looking for answers that just I can plug and play. This isn't tic-tac-toe.
This next question might be the same answer then, but I was wondering, like, as Ram, do I generally want them to overextend and then I punish with Nemesis, or am I looking to be the engager Nemesis into their backline?
I'm going to let the awkward silence answer the question for you.
Okay.
Okay, that's awkward enough.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it depends, right? Do they have a Zenyatta comp? Do you have speed? Do you have a Zenyatta?
Yeah.
Are they on, like, Rhine, you know?
Yeah, okay.
You know? Totally depends. I mean, we're talking about it, especially here with a lot of dynamics, right? Like this hero can brawl, this hero can poke. Well, it just depends. Depends on the situation. I mean, you could brawl a Reinhardt if the Reinhardt has no shield, right?
Yeah.
But you can't brawl a Reinhardt when he's got full HP, you know? And so on, so.
What do you think's the good comps for Antarctic Peninsula?
No idea. Played the map once. No idea.
Yeah, I played it
once. No idea what I was doing. I've fed my brains out. I have no idea. Yeah, honestly. It looks like a relatively like congested-ish map at some points. So I don't know. Lucius. Go ahead.
I had a Winston question I forgot to ask. I mean, I kind of have more answers that it's more dynamic from all that review, but I was wondering when it's good to like their tank overextends and like I go forward bubble to block their healing.
Yeah.
Should I should I go up bubble block with healing, tase the tank, or is it better to just jump straight onto the supports, bubble them off?
Who do you do more damage to, a tank or supports, proportionally?
Supports, right. Ratio-wise.
Right. So. What's the only risk out of jumping the supports?
That maybe they could like sleep me, kill me eventually.
Right. So there's your risk versus reward right there.
Okay. Risk and reward,
damage,
it just depends.
Right. You do no damage to a tank, but it also there's no risk of you dying. If the tank really overextends, then you're like, well, I don't need to also overextend. I could just turn around and kill him. You know what I'm saying? But then that's, again, risk versus reward. You look at the situation. And like I say, it's the same thing as a Ramacho. Like, you're an intelligent enough player to be able to make to answer these on your own.
We just need more thinking. Okay.
Right.
Well, Oh, wait. Okay. Well, the last thing I was going to ask is about Sigma. I was wondering, with Flux, do you usually... Oh, wait. No, I had a question about my team. Okay, I'll forget the Sigma question. This ties into it. So, there's been situations. We have Kitsune Rush. We have Annihilation. Like, which one would you use first? If you know you can win a fight with one of them. Like, and this is a general question. Like, when we have multiple ults.
Or Ramatra?
Annihilation versus Kitsune Rush.
You tell me.
I mean, the thing I've been calling, like, I mean, it sometimes depends on the comp, but like, say they're playing their, like, this enemy, like, they're also on Ram. I'd be like, let's go in with Annihilation. And then, I mean, it usually just wins the fight, so I was like, I don't know. I feel like Kitsune and Annihilation both win fights and are both really valuable. So
well, here's where as a team you have to understand the range of the ultimates that you're using. So there's situations in which like it's better to open with Sojourn ult because you have good sightlines, right? Or it's better to open with Kiriko ult because we're fighting really close together. But the problem with your question is that both Annihilation and Kiriko ult both fight within close range, right? So, and they both theoretically could be kited out if you don't use it properly. So they have the same issues, the same strength, the same weaknesses. So I don't see the difference.
So there's really,
The only thing I can maybe say is that theoretically, if the backline is playing inaccessible, Annihilation might be a lot weaker because a 30 DPS suck on the enemy tank isn't exactly very good. But Kiriko ult you could theoretically use while setting in Kiriko ult and shoot outside of it. So maybe Annihilation is slightly better when in more close range, and Kiriko has a little bit more flexibility with range, but that's mostly it to me. That's the big difference. Besides, before we talk about like compositional matchups and stuff like that, that's the big stand-on to me.
Okay. Oh wait, last question I had about Winston. So
Sure.
I was attacking Rialto the other
Yeah.
day, and I'm like capping first point. When it
Yeah.
gets to the wide open area, I try to I'm like, man, this is just wide open. There's barely any cover. So I'm like, I'll go all the way left side. Their
Big guy.
backline's just sitting isolated over there. I walk
Yeah.
all the way around, but like my team pushes up and dies because I'm taking 20 seconds to set up, and they're impatient.
Yeah.
I'm wondering when is too is it ever too long of a setup? Like I
Yeah,
was taking too long.
sometimes you could. What you could do is you take the short little left door that leads to the left mega. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You jump to that high ground right in front of you, up top on that ledge. Jump on that ledge. You tuck behind. They all turn around. They're all spooked, and then you can drop at them from that position. It's slightly faster, and also you're distracting them while you do it. It's not great. And if you really had to jump just straight out in the open, where would you jump on that point of Rialto?
I would probably go there's middle pillars that
Yes,
you can use for a
yes,
little bit of coverage.
exactly. You jump on the middle pillars, be a general distraction, bubble a little bit late, tuck, maybe jump back, maybe then jump at the high ground, and so on. I mean, if you're playing in a coordinated environment, your question never happens. However, it's a fair point. It does happen sometimes, so that's probably the best solution.
Well, in a coordinated environment, though, say it takes me 20 seconds to get all the way around to where we want, and our tracer's setting up, but this person's setting up. They poke us. We have to wait. I mean, I guess it's just sloppy I think about it.
Well, even in a coordinated environment, there are ways to counter that, right? So yeah, even then, the question still might be okay. Okay.
Okay. Well,
I have to let you go, unfortunately. I do have to get into my next session.
Well, thank you for your time.
You are very welcome.